Hello, it's me. It's back to the basics. I'm here attempting to record this again. Um, this is season 2, episode 34. Grand risings, grand afternoon, grand evening, grand night. I ran upon an article that was in essence, it was updated February 8th, 2023, written by Elizabeth Ayula. And it talks about Tia Mowry, and her divorce or quote unquote graduation, as she calls it. But op ed, women aren't selfish for choosing their happiness over their marriage. Um, Let me go. Abuse and cheating aren't the only grounds for someone to leave a marriage. Here's why Tia Mowry and every woman has a right to, to prioritize their happiness. And my commentary is those two grounds should be the only reason for divorce, period. Because it's more than just a legal binding contract. That's also a sacred institution. Let me keep going here. This is a picture of her smiling. Her and Corey were married for 14 years. I'm gonna start with the next sentence. Despite the initial astonishment of the public, Mowry has since moved forward and seems to be in a happy, healthy place. hmm Months later, her divorce has yet again become a topic of conversation, but the focus is on why she chose to call it quits. In November, Mowry was on the Today Show with Hoda and Jenna Hager and revealed the moment she knew her marriage was over. Now, even now, you notice that pronoun that she used, and I hope you can see the link there. But either way, it'll be in the description or pinned somewhere. She said the moment she knew her marriage was over, that should have been their marriage was over. And then this paragraph right here. I feel like when people look at marriage, success equals longevity. But no, at the end of the day, are they happy? Are they thriving? Are they growing? I feel like that is what is most important. It's not about staying in something because however long you're in that situation, that equals success. It's about really, again, are you happy? Because life is really short, Mowry said. Here's the issue. I feel like instead of focusing on feelings, what is the experience? This is why an individual should never let their emotions control them. Leading by emotion is very unwise. Can lead to it, it often leads to bad decisions, in my opinion. And then here, I'm gonna beat this up, but men are not responsible for our happiness, and vice versa. Happiness comes from the source, the Most High. It comes from within, not outside of ourselves. You know, happiness is something that, it comes from within. The Most High will give it to you. All you have to do is ask. And with that happiness, there's also experiencing joy. And at the end of the day, another person is not responsible for that. Some on social media are now criticizing the actress for ending a 14-year marriage that birthed two children in favor of her happiness. Yeah, this is a this is a debate I've heard before. Imagine living in a world where a woman becomes a villain because she chooses peace and happiness over marriage. Here we go. Let me see what I put right here. Stop with the victim card. Tia chose to end her marriage. She chose herself over her family. Divorce is not a graduation. It divides households and subtracts from children's quality of life. Many children blame their self for the divorce, which is the truth. And this part right here, this blame shift is getting on my nerves already. Woman becomes a villain because she chooses peace and happiness over marriage. You can have that with an intact family. That's not an excuse to leave. This disregard, here we go. This disregard for black women, their needs and their health is grating. And again, this is I just went for the jugular. Stop the cap. This has nothing to do with her health. Has nothing to do with Tia's health. This has to do with her seeking validation, attention from men other than her now ex-husband. And for all those who be peeping certain things on social media, you got people married 17 years talking about, oh, they need more attention. You got Tia over there in a video that I do believe was her in that leopard print, whatever that was, with them hooker boots on, asking her son, "Do you like my outfit?" And then when he said no, she gonna say why. You literally are dressed like a 304 in front of your son. And unfortunately, again, with everything being about her, she's not thinking about how this is affecting not only her son, but also her, well, should I say their son, but also, their daughter. A mother should never present herself like that in front of in front of their children like that. That's not appropriate. Let me keep going though. I have been divorced for almost 3 years now. People said similar things to me when I was contemplating divorce. Said people made it clear that my happiness came second, and as a woman, it was my job to keep my family together. It's your job as a wife to keep your family together. It's funny how we ask men to be self sacrificing and put their needs on the back burner. See, this right here, this is shifting blame instead of holding herself responsible, accountable for the decision she made, which was to divorce her husband, Corey. And even the way this sentence is even put together, it's funny. This is not funny. Divorce is division and subtraction. It's not addition and multiplication. So her math ain't mathin'. It's not. It's funny. Nothing's funny how we never ask men. Here we go with this. We never ask men. Men have been sacrificing for hundreds of years, for millennia. They build and run societies. They lead and run militaries. Here we go. I obviously went ahead with the divorce and I stand on my decision. It was one of the best I've made in my life. Yeah, because you were only thinking about yourself, Tia. Does it affect my son negatively in some ways? Yes. But it's worth it because he has the healthiest and most loving version of me. Can you say delusional? You just admitted that this negatively affects your son. But then you followed up with, but it's worth it because he has the healthiest and most loving version of me. So again, it goes back to Tia. Forget their children. In this article, it mentions, their son. I am less stressed, more free, and able to focus on creating an environment where we can thrive instead of expending all my resources forcing a marriage to work. Okay, here we go. Nobody forced you to marry Corey. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, you and Corey had a prenuptial agreement. And here I go with my commentary, and I'm doubling down on this. So again, it goes back to her. Everything is about Tia. Screw everybody else. This is an unhealthy mindset for their children, and it's an unhealthy mindset uh for the whole family. It's not good. As a primary caregiver, this is pivotal. Caregiver, you should have been taking care of your husband and your children, and yeah. And here I'm pretty much saying Tia's job was to be the help meet, to love, respect her husband and children. My long term happiness was more important than staying in a marriage that wasn't serving me because my health and well being matters as a black woman. Here we go. I'm getting tired of this me and my. So does Maori's. Marriage is supposed to be a win win for all parties involved, not just one party benefiting from the work sacrifice of others. That whole sentence right there, man, that wasn't serving me. Okay. For those who say it's selfish to leave because it affects kids and their needs should come first, it is possible for kids from divorced homes to thrive. Many studies show that the conflict that happens during and after a divorce leads to negative outcomes and post traumatic stress symptoms, but not necessarily from parents being apart. Okay, so if you know that, then why not explore other options? Also, instead of only focusing on data that says kids from divorced homes are worse off, let's look at the why. And then oh, let's start cherry picking data. Yes, we should focus on the data uh, that children are worse off. Reasons statistics cite include kids being more likely to live in poverty, high levels of parental conflict, and then being less likely to further their education. Yeah, because you're dividing a household. You're dividing and you're subtracting. I don't know who says that divorce is a graduation, but anyway, these are things that can mostly be resolved by addressing issues like gender pay, racial bias, inequality, and increasing government support for people with children. What about therapy? And then she's finally going to mention therapy after this. Perhaps easier access to therapy for individuals and families could help minimize the conflict that occurs too. Yeah, and here's what I put. Therapy like marriage counseling and or individual counseling. Marriage counseling is good, but hey, sometimes, you got to be one on one with that with the counselor. And not only that, um, you know, get your spirit right and your mind right. Point is, the issues that arise among kids from divorced homes can be addressed without two people who aren't happy staying together. Here we go with this happy again. Now notice how we keep bringing up happy and then check this out. You, while I do agree that happiness is a fleeting feeling, not everything can be worked through. Okay, so happiness is a fleeting feeling. So pretty much what, come and go, but you still chose to leave. because you weren't happy, which I'm going to say again, men are not responsible for our happiness and vice versa. And here's what I'm going to say. If happiness is, and here's what I said in my little bubble here. If happiness is a fleeting feeling, then why file for divorce after 14 years? This doesn't make any sense at all. You have you had someone there who was going to be by your side until death do you part, and you chose to leave, break up the family. Sometimes people grow apart, and when it becomes you've evolved in different directions, especially when it comes to core values. How do you stay together without sacrificing who you are? When core values conflict, it's difficult to make things work long term and still be at peace with yourself and your partner. And here's what, when an individual gets married and especially has children, it's not about the individual anymore. I mean, particularly for the woman, you're taking on another, the man's last name. Oh my goodness. Let me keep going. Where am I? Okay, right here. I almost went too far, y'all. If your core values are still the same and you can manage to iron out your differences so the both of you can be true to yourselves in the marriage, then yes, I believe you should fight to make it work. It's not about fighting to make something work. You know, there's sacrifice, there's compromise, there's negotiation, there's yielding, there's submission. I mean, this. Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. Let me just try to get through this. A couple I admire who have been able to do this is Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. She just had to bring up Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. And y'all know what happened. Jada's entanglement. What would you admire about that? On a 2018 episode of Red Table Talk, they discussed how they chose to make their marriage work and how divorce wasn't an option. Before we finish this paragraph, I just don't like it that the word admire is used here because it almost, to me, and this is the perception that I'm getting, this is my opinion, this is not a fact, but it almost is like what do you want to you? Like you want to open marriage? You just want to do what you want to do? I'm like you see where I'm going with this? Like why would you admire that she pretty much spilled the tea on that red table talk, and then Will was over there pretty much co-signing. That's nothing to admire. Anytime cheating, infidelity occurs, that should be shamed and shunned. People should be excommunicated. Like, no, don't talk to me. No. Well, no, don't talk to me. You low down cheating heifer. But okay, let me keep going. However, they had to reinvent their marriage so that they could both be their authentic selves and live life on their terms. This isn't always possible. Admittedly, breaking up your family is one of the most gut wrenching things you can do. Well, we wouldn't know. You out here acting like you living your best life, talking about you ready for love again. But anyway, but as a child who came from a two-parent home where I watched my mother stay in an unhappy marriage, I can confidently say her staying wasn't best for us kids. It taught me what staying in a loveless marriage looks like. It also taught me that self sacrificing as a woman does not guarantee long term happiness. Here we go. Don't use your parents' situation as a scapegoat. This isn't about your mom and your dad to you. This is about you and Corey and those babies. And yes, I know that they're not babies. They're growing up, but you know how certain jargon is with us, particularly black people. Shoot, if my mom was still here, she would say, "Yep, you're still my baby. I don't care if you turn 60 years old." Y'all know what I mean. Seeing my parents' relationship is partially why I sometimes struggle to understand what a healthy, loving relationship is. Okay, and here's the thing. This is where instead of filing for divorce, marriage counseling and individual counseling could have helped her. Because to me, that sounds like an issue within her, within Tia, not that didn't have nothing to do with Corey. But again, that's my opinion. I believe it's better for children to see their parents happy, thriving, and emotionally stable than to see them married. Okay. Can I add that abuse and cheating aren't the only grounds for someone to leave a marriage? You can add that, but it doesn't mean anything. People in unhappy marriages are at higher risk of depression, higher high blood pressure, and heart disease. The negative health effects don't end there. Married men are both happier and healthier than married women. Married men are also 39% more likely to outlive married women, according to a statistical analysis spanning across 200 years. All this to say a black woman's health being at risk is more than enough of a reason to leave. Okay, so now we're using all these cherry pick statistics to justify you breaking up the family because you just want to be out here and be brand new in the dating market again, which I don't know why. I don't know why you'd want to start over again at 44, but anyways. And then to me, just deflecting back on black women's health. And since we're always screaming protect black women, we should care about their well being in every context. So here we go. So now you're using a quote, I do believe, from Malcolm X that does not mean what it's being meant as far as today. That doesn't mean that you use that quote to co-sign your messery, to co-sign your selfish decision, to co-sign, oh, me, my happiness, me, and all this other stuff. I tell you. And okay. So no, deflecting to health doesn't excuse selfishness, and it doesn't. We're getting there. I do believe this is the end. Quite frankly, I don't think women's happiness should even be up for debate. The conversation shouldn't solely be about whether women should stay in a marriage because divorces are inevitable. Here's the thing about that. All a person has to do is look up the data. More women file for divorce than men. So, no, we should be talking about whether women should stay in a marriage when they're the one filing for divorce most often. And we're talking about cases that we're not talking about in cases of abuse or cheating. We're talking about this, oh, I'm unhappy crap. She gonna take a shot, and I'm gonna take a shot right back. Uninformed Twitter fingers and criticism won't stop women from getting divorced. First of all, Tia, you're not the only one with life experience. There are people out here who know both sides of it, meaning they were a child and they also saw their parents split, and they also may have gone through a divorce or who might even be pending a divorce. So all this uninformed Twitter fingers, no. Nah, don't take a shot if you don't want to clap back. And you know what? A divorce isn't gonna is not going to make up for the children being hurt in all this. And not to mention Corey. Corey's hurting about this. You should be shamed. You should be shunned. You should be made to be invisible, seeking validation at your age. You're too old. You're not a teenage girl anymore on freaking Snapchat, posting what, doing God knows how many selfies per day. Like you're in your 40s. When are you gonna grow up to you? You're right. Criticism won't stop women from getting divorced, and it's not gonna stop. Divorce is not gonna stop. You know, the negative effects on the children, on everyone involved. Here, I tell you. Instead, I think we should talk about how to create healthier environments for children of divorce, how to facilitate healing for everyone who is affected by divorce. Yeah, because everybody's going to need healing after this since you chose to leave. It's not just those children, it's Corey too. How to improve the financial situations of divorced women, especially when they're primary caretakers. First of all, a lot of those divorced women made the choice to get the divorce, like as been stated, and statistics are out there. So you want to be independent, you want to be single, you want to be single and ready to mingle, and oh, I'm ready for love again. Then you know what? That should come with a cost. You hurt your family. You hurt not only your husband, you hurt your children. I just get tired of this. Um, this I don't just this over focus on women in our society. I'm just over it. I'm just over it. And how to co-parent so that children feel love on all sides. Yes, finally you started making some sense towards the end of this article, because it should be about facilitating healing after you did what you did, and the children. And it's not feeling love; it's experiencing love on all sides. A child should never be made to choose between mom and dad, which means that when the children are with you, you shouldn't say anything bad about Corey, and when the children are with Corey, you he shouldn't be saying anything bad about you. That those children should experience love, not feel, experience love on all sides. Tell you, you're in your 40s. I'm in my 30s. I shouldn't even be having to be even saying nothing to you. See, this, this is the shenanigans I'm talking about. Person shouldn't even have to be going here with you like this. All right. If this article doesn't prove that there is a gender bias against men, yes, I said gender bias against men, especially black men, that I don't know what will. I said that will, but I meant what will. The deflection, blame shift, and gaslighting is over the top. This is not the type of woman any man should be looking to have a long term relationship with. It's all about her and nobody else. And going back up to the title of this article, op ed, Women Aren't Selfish for Choosing Their Happiness. over their marriage. After breaking down this article, yeah, you pretty much proved the opposite, that women are selfish for choosing their happiness over their marriage. Just by the different pronouns. Oh, she knew when her marriage was over. I mean, are you this is just ridiculous. Okay, that's getting into another article. Now I'm going to say this, and I see I'm a little bit past the 30-minute mark. I'm going to say this. I am not a feminist, first of all. So if you're a feminist and if you coming over here attempting to bash black men, no, this ain't the channel for you. You might want to go somewhere else. Number two, as a woman, I see the gender bias in our society against men, particularly black men. Particularly black men. And the way the verbiage and the framing of sentences that this author used, Elizabeth Ayula, and all that, the pronouns that were used, straight gender biased against men. Talking about men. Oh, it's funny how men aren't, they're never asked to self-sacrifice. If a man's traditional role is still protector and provider. The last time I checked, that hasn't changed. Despite all these other letters of the alphabet that we want to add to a certain community, that hasn't changed at all. He neither has the role as a woman. Real interesting, she kept saying, "Oh, I'm a primary caretaker." Yeah. So if you know you're a primary caretaker, then here we go, right here. Look at that. Look at that. Right there. So what do you think your job as a primary caretaker is? To be a helpmate to your husband, respect your husband, love your husband and your children, be a keeper of the home, chaste, modest. I mean, this is all in the, I'm telling you. But anyway, I just wanted to come and get this off my chest because I'm going to say this, all this messery that's going on, that doesn't represent all of black women. Not everybody has drank the Kool-Aid of feminism and oh, modern woman and all this other stuff and oh, I'm an independent single lady and all this other crap. Nah, I'm drawing a line in the sand. Tia Mowry, Sierra, Lizzo, Cardi B, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, Meg Thee Stallion, Slowrilla, well, should I say Glorilla, whoever else out there, that does not represent me as a black woman. No. No, I don't want you anywhere near me. No. And you can say I'm hating or whatever, but hey, this is my opinion. Because at the end of the day, it's a shame when, you know, if the black man goes one way, the black woman goes another way, you know what that leaves? That leaves our babies, our children exposed in an unfair system. And y'all know where I'm going with that. I love you as a sister. I'm gonna most likely put this article either in the description box or in the comments or somewhere, just so that you can read this messery for yourself. Feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe. But I love you as a sister. I don't mind getting up on here and saying something that is unpopular. I've been called names before, been called pick me and mammy, and I just look at people, oh, so now I'm a pick me because I support my counterpart. But anyway, again, Essence article updated February 8th, 2023, written by Elizabeth Ayula. I love you as a sister. I do get into these topics. I know I say some very unpopular things, but I stand on what I say. And, you know, it's a shame that doing the right thing is becoming unpopular, but it is what it is. Y'all have a blessed day and a grand evening and a grand night. And I just pray that you enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and blessings.